Hello? Hmm. So, guys, if you can hear me, just be patient with me because I'm not sure if this microphone is working or not. It's my first time using it. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm just taking a look here. Hello? Let's see. Settings, the stream. Hmm. Well, I would certainly hope that you guys can hear me. I suppose I'll turn this on my phone. Let's see if I can hear myself. That would be a good test to do, wouldn't it? So let's see here. Hello, hello. Let's see. Oh, I see Rebecca's on here. Re- oh, very cool. Okay, so I'm. Hi, Rebecca. I suppose I should keep my phone open because Facebook is like uber weird. Let me see. Okay, so I silenced my phone to where I don't hear myself from my phone. How are you doing? I'm I'm thinking that the microphone is working. Can you hear me okay? I This is weird. This is different. I'm not accustomed to having this going on. I almost want to do a test 1, 2, 3, 4 type thing. And yes, as far as updates, we did have a roofing guy look at our roof today, which Tim tells me it's a 20-year-old roof. The guy got up there, and we're not surprised, given it's a 20-year-old roof, that it needs work. And he also told us that we have storm damage, that so he's going to send Tim some pictures about it. And so we got like an insurance adjuster coming to look at the damage that we've had on March 31st. So I think this guy told Tim he's going to help us communicate with the insurance companies, or insurance company rather, to kind of see if they can cover the cost. Because of course we have a deductible to meet. So yeah, it's a progressive thing. I think it'll be good to take care of the roof, and I'm looking forward to getting my privacy fence back. You know. And hi, Honor. Ah, very cool. Thank you for dropping in to say hello. I totally understand if you got to pop on and off, especially given the hour and all that good stuff. Planning to do a podcast. Well, Tim, Tim's always been supportive of me. He watched that first video I did and he determined that I needed a microphone. And so I think this thing is working. Honestly, I played golf with him this morning for 4 hours. Came back, did some things with the kids for a couple hours that they wanted to do. I took a nap for about half an hour. I woke up and now I'm here. I'm literally sliding into this. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Tim says he'll pop in um, to help me with my microphone. I followed the quick start instructions and I turned the thing on. So I think that it's going. Now, as far as the podcast goes, I don't know. I really like the idea of just talking to people. And Tim thinks it may be a good idea, so maybe it's something I'll be looking at in the future. Um, why not, right? So I don't know. I'll let you know if I move forward with a podcast, you know. And I see Tim's on here. Tim, you have to tell me if you can hear me better. I hooked the microphone up to the computer with the quick start manual. I have it turned on. I just don't know. And I selected it. So I'm hoping that it works. But yeah, it does feel a little fancy having this this microphone on my altar just like pointing at me, you know? But if people can hear me better on it, that's a good thing. And of course, let me know. And I know earlier Rebecca said she could hear me. So that's the main thing. As long as you guys can hear me, then we're cool, I think. And I can hear the doggies going with their barking upstairs. So Tim must have just rolled in from getting dinner stuff. So Honor says fun. I've thought of it occasionally, but I don't think I'd stick with it. I don't know. I think for me, I get on these kicks, and it's part of probably the obsessive part of my personality. Like for me currently, I'm all about the flavored waters, and I've been on a kick of those, and the ramen noodles. I've been on a kick of teriyaki noodles. So I get into these kicks, and I don't know. I mean, it never hurts to try something and see what pans out. So Tim, I don't know if this thing is.
I can hear you, but it's
Can you hear?
not awesome.
Okay, can you help me? There's
Yeah,
the manual.
I think directionally you
Okay.
need to have it
Oh, like in front of
like
me.
right in front of you. It's directional.
Okay.
And maybe we can.
Let's see. Is this is this better?
We'll work on positioning for next one, but
Okay.
I'll check to see if
There is never a dull moment. Okay, wow. So I feel very different with this. This is going to take me some getting used to, I think. So it's weird. I can't see the comments on my computer, but I can see them on my phone. So I'm going to keep my phone here because I love to visit with you guys. That way I can see the comments. So as I read, I'll check out my phone, okay? So tonight, I'll go ahead and start with my folk telling here. We are covering Bigfoot. And in this book, it's called the world famous Hirsute horror. The book is Freaky Folklore. Darkness Prevails with Carmen Carrion. I know this is a podcast. So the lady who wrote this book does have a podcast, you know. And she's all about the cryptids. And I think it's cool to like think about these mythological creatures that may or may not exist, but people have seen them. I can't get over this, guys. I can't get over this microphone. Oh my gosh. But getting back to the whole podcast thing, I think if I do end up doing it, I would want, like, Honor, I would want you on there with me. Rebecca, you're one of my tried and trues. I'd want you on there interviewing with me and talking tarot or whatever we want to talk about. I think I would want to pull people with different interests, and so I think it would be cool. So I'm playing around with the idea currently because that's what Tim totally asked me. You can move it back to the side of that if it's better for you. I don't know. Let's see here. Maybe just a little bit because it's kind of intrusive. The Let's see here. I'll have it close to me. There we go. We'll try it off to the side so you can see my face a little bit, not just the microphone, you know. So some freaky facts about Bigfoot. The location is the Pacific Northwest. First sighting was the late 1800s. It is considered a humanoid, which makes sense because it looks like a human, but a very big, tall, furry human. And personality is extremely shy. So this is a picture of this guy that is totally in the book, of course. But I would imagine if we were to run into this guy, I mean, he's not going to get cold. He's pretty furry. He's going to leave some really big footprints. And if we were working on something and needed that brute strength, I think if this person or this cryptid had rationality to it, that it could totally help us build something cool if we needed help, you know? And Honor says, I can hyperfixate too. Our house has changed a lot over the years due to a new style I'm all about. Maddie alluded a little bit to the style. She told me that you have a really cool picture as you walk into your house that Scarlett shared with Maddie, but I've, of course, I don't know what it looks like. But I would be totally down to see what in the world she's talking about, you know? So it says here that Bigfoot legends predate written history and have been told throughout the world. In North America, particularly in the Northwest, there are legends of 8 foot tall, hairy men prowling the forest, occasionally frightening campers, hikers, and hunters. Many of those who believe in Bigfoot or claim to have seen one say they are 8 foot tall, hair covered bipeds with ape like characteristics that leave proportionally large footprints. So, Tim, if you're still on, could totally use some sweet tea or water. I think my gnat must have dried my mouth out because I can feel it. But Honor says Maddie thinks it's tacky. Maddie is a mess. I'm sure that JJ shared that Maddie and I bumped heads yesterday about her dictating to me where she's going and not asking. So that could be its own story. We've crossed that bridge with respectful communication. But she is so particular about art, you know. Thank you, honey. I see Tim is going to bring me some sweet tea. And thank you. Yes, I would love for you to text and send me a picture. Maddie is Maddie. She thinks a lot of my stuff is tacky. She is her own person. I would dare say that my daughter is a bit of an art snob. We'll leave it at that. And she knows she is the way she is, you know. But getting back to this dude, why haven't we ever seen a lady Bigfoot? Because if these things keep reappearing, unless they reproduce asexually, which I would question if they're similar to humans, right? Why aren't like there any sightings of a female Bigfoot? You know, that would be one of my first questions. So I'll go ahead and go into like some of the folklore about the Bigfoot. Although some wilderness visitors claim to have smelled their stench or heard their screams and whistles, they are typically described as non aggressive animals that are shy and cunning, making them illusory and hence rarely observed. Despite the fact that Bigfoot is most often linked with the mountainous west of North America, the creature is known by a variety of names throughout a wide range of cultures. And Honor says it was all good fun. She wasn't being disrespectful. It's become an in joke. oh, okay. Different perspective on yesterday. Ah, let's just say my text messages come off as a bit different. We'll put it that way. I think with yesterday, Maddie was letting me know where she was going to be. That's perfectly fine. If she would have been cool with saying, hey, is it cool if I go and hang out with Scarlett, you know, and her dad at South County Mall? That would have been different. But what she did is she texted me telling me I am going there when I had waited around for her for hours in the area. Like Tim and Noah met up with me. We went to Mickey D's, hit up Golf Galaxy, waiting on her to be like, okay, cool. You know, I'm ready to be picked up. And then for her to be like telling me, "Oh, I'm leaving," without even consulting with me first. That's the main thing, or her father. It's just a matter of better communication, and I think we pretty well addressed that, you know. So It's different, and plus, I'm setting expectations for my child before she gets her license and she gets behind the wheel of a car. That there needs to at least be some check-in and communication, and so yeah, so I don't think it's no longer a thing. I think it's just we see things a bit differently, so we I think totally addressed all that, you know. So it says the majority of Bigfoot sightings take place in the Northwest, where the beast is connected to local tribal myths and tales. According to the Oregon, I can never say that state, Oregon Encyclopedia, the word Sasquatch is a derivative of the word Saskets, which is from the Halkidimi language. Wow, that's a long word. Used by some Salish First Nation peoples in southwest British Columbia. Its definition is wild man or hairy man. The honor says we had thought she had told you in advance because she had brought it up because of the music there, which that would make sense. It was a total misunderstanding on our part, but I get it. Oh, thank you so much, honey. You saved my day.
That's what I'm here for, dear.
Mm, it just hits just right. That's Milo's sweet tea. Oh, I love it so much. Okay. But yeah, I think overall honor what happened with that, it was like a huge misunderstanding. Because I think if Maddie would have just called, probably it would have been more efficient to call and been like, "Hey, is it cool if I leave with Scarlett and her dad to go to the record store at South County to get some CDs and shirts?" That would have been better received instead of her just telling us, "I am doing this." Me and her daddy are like, "What? That is not what we planned. That's not what we agreed upon." You know, and plus, like I told your husband, the plan, which Maddie and I pretty well reviewed, was I was going to take her to the mall, drop her off, act like I don't know her because she's at that stage where she doesn't want to be seen with me, and then she's going to tell me when she was ready for me to pick her up, and then I'd pick her up. So what she had proposed deviated, you know. And I'll tell you what, when I parked my car at that mall, actually, I didn't even have the car in park yet. She tried to hop out of the car, and I'm like, "Maddie, you have to wait till I park the car, and then you can go into the mall and meet Scarlett." So that's how that day started. And when I passed them going to Earthbound, I literally did this. I covered my face and I looked away, and Maddie's like, "Greetings and salutations," and I'm like, I kept walking. I'm like, "I don't know you." So I think I did good at being incognito and acting like I didn't know her, even though people, if she was near me, she has some of my features. So, she's definitely my daughter. So it says there is a little physical evidence to support the existence of Bigfoot, making it a cryptid, similar to the chupacabra or Loch Ness monster. That's another cool one, would be the Loch Ness monster. But that doesn't stop Bigfoot enthusiasts from claiming to have seen the ape that never displays its face, nor does it halt purported sightings of the creature. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, settlers in North America began to record sightings. In 1894, a photo was taken in Canada. Then there was the discovery of footprints in 1958. Later on, a few grainy videos added to the mystery. Bigfoot sightings reports have ranged from enormous upright apes to hairy humans, at times over 8 feet tall and described as solidly muscular. So that's my next question. How about a Bigfoot that's out of shape? I mean, just like humans come in different shapes and sizes, and you got the little couch potato people, you got the athletes. Why are they always masculine, and here it's being described as muscular, you know. Sounds like a lot of pressure to be in shape if you're a Bigfoot. Let's see. So, research and discussion are ongoing. Groups frequently comb the Northwest woods in quest of conclusive evidence, and entire organizations have been formed to investigate, document, and verify the existence of Bigfoot. Matt Moneymaker is a TV personality and the founder of the largest of these organizations. 500 people work for Moneymaker's Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, which was established in the middle of the 1990s and examines reports of Sasquatch sightings across North America. The largest and most established organization of its kind, the BFRO, today consists of scientists, journalists, and other professionals from a variety of fields. The BFRO's researchers are working on several investigations in both the field and the lab that deal with different facets of the Bigfoot phenomenon. Hey, honey, what's up? Oh, wait, is it the? Oh, am I still kind of?
It's just not as good as I thought it would be.
Oh, it's okay, honey. I appreciate it. Let's see here. So, the BFRO's researchers are working on several investigations in both the field and the lab that deal with different facets of the Bigfoot phenomenon. The BFRO is widely regarded as the most reputable and respected investigative work or network engaged in the research of this topic because of the training, experience, and caliber of its members' work. It's crazy that there is an organization devoted with like staff members since the 1990s with scientists, journalists, all sorts of various professionals, right? Since the 1990s for Bigfoot. I mean, just to wrap your mind around that, that's crazy, right? Have you ever seen Harry and the Hendersons? I remember that's an old show, isn't it, from the 90s, where it had all the like the Bigfoot family. Like I do remember it. I did not like religiously watch it or anything like that, but I do remember it. Did you watch it, Honor? Let's see. So it says the legend of Bigfoot has become so ingrained in American culture that you can find its image on ball caps, t-shirts, and mugs. That's true because I actually, very short, funny story. So, as many of my close friends who've been with me know, including Honor and Rebecca, because they've been with me for a hot minute when I hop onto these things, I have issues with my bottom, and that's in a very ladylike way stating that, okay? And I had, let's just say it, because it's an ugly word, but it's true. I had hemorrhoid surgery 1 year ago in February. And so I've had to see a proctologist I've gotten to know so well. And his name, well, I'll go ahead and say it because he's a really great proctologist. Dr. West. He is a proctologist and surgeon who works in, West County, like Chesterfield area. If you ever have bottom issues, please go see him. He's great. But I have seen this dude so much that Tim helped me find Bigfoot shirts that would make like it would have like an inappropriate saying referencing the butthole. But it has Bigfoot on it, and I cannot remember right now what exactly it says. Tim, if you remember the saying on my shirt, please share. But it's true. Bigfoot is all over all sorts of things, right? And let's see. Honor says there's also a true crime doc called Sasquatch. Really? You may enjoy it if you like true crime. I do like true crime. I think, if anything, it makes me a bit more paranoid, especially being I've got a daughter who's about to turn 17 in June. I know the kid's going to eventually pass her licensure exam. And I think of all the bad stuff, right? And Tim, because he knows I'm a worrywart, tells me, well, it's because of technology. We had bad stuff happen back when we were younger, but we didn't have cell phones with internet on it. We had our parents who watched the cable news. We didn't have these computers like we do today. So now we find out about everything really quickly. And I think it does contribute toward a sense of paranoia. It certainly contributes toward my own paranoia, I think, you know? But I am down, I do watch the crime specials as they come on Netflix. I like how they catch these bad guys and bad women, using all their, technology and so forth. So, so Rebecca says that's a movie. So, I was thinking it was like a series, Harry and the Hendersons. Maybe again, I am very forgetful. Just ask Tim. It's every day I am forgetting something, even words. Like, I've been an avid reader my whole life. I've loved books. But, like, I'll forget the name of a store I've known forever or words I've used my whole life. I can't pull them up quite right. So, I do attribute that to menopause. Ever since I went through the change of life, my memory is just not the same. And Rebecca, let's see here. Honor says that's a money laundering scheme or something. I'm about to I'm about afraid to ask what the money laundering scheme is. I need to avoid it because my money needs to be spent on repairing my roof and get a privacy fence back up so that we can let the dogs out in the backyard and not see straight down three or four houses and have them look at me. I'm used to having more privacy, but again, I'm grateful for my blessings. I'm not complaining, but I'm looking forward to that fence getting back up once the what is it, the insurance person shows up. And Rebecca says he's right about that. A lot more happened than we've ever heard about it. Now it's in your face all day. Exactly, and that's why I do get on. Like we all do. We get off our technology, and then we're like, oh, we automatically think it. I need to check my phone. What if someone texted or called? Because I don't know if I'm the only one, but I just leave my ringer off unless I'm expecting a call or I'm worried about somebody being able to get in touch with me and I'm expecting it. I'll turn it on. But I get so many spam callers, people trying to rip me off every day. I don't leave that on. So yeah, I do kind of miss the 90s and the simplicity of having less technology. But then I love having this outlet to visit with my buddies and laugh and decompress from the current political climate, which is, there's no other way to say it. I'm just going to say the word, it's a shit show. It's been a shit show for a hot minute. I just like to disconnect from that and have fun and laugh a little bit when it's impacted everybody, right? But I won't turn this. This is a safe place without the politics. I'm not going there. But I'm really glad just to have my buddies, and my family to be able to find some humor and laugh. So it says that most Bigfoot encounters are alarming but not scary. For Bigfoot, after all, seems to be a shy creature. However, in this story, so we're about to get into story time, Jack and his dad Brian find out that even Bigfoot can have a bad day. Well, so this should be interesting. Under the cloak of darkness, the dense forest enveloped Jack and his dad Brian as they ventured toward the tree stands. The air was filled with a symphony of woodland sounds and the earthy aroma of nature. Their flashlight beams danced across the undergrowth, searching for the narrow path. The hoots of an owl could be heard softly in the distance, welcoming the night. After half an hour of trudging through the woods, they finally arrived at their destination. Jack settled into the wooden stand, arranging his backpack and rifle. His nerves tingled with excitement and apprehension. Hunting in the dark had always unsettled him, yet he loved the thrill of the wait. To me, that sounds so dreadful. I would not want to be just watching from a wooden platform. But I've seen them when we go to different parks, so to each their own, right? Now I'm going to get a little bit of sweet tea. A couple of hours passed uneventfully. Again, this sounds like torture. That in itself is a scary story. The woods were eerily silent, as if holding its breath. Then a bone chilling howl rang out, echoing through the trees. Jack froze in place, his heart pounding. Ah, woo! Oh my gosh, can you imagine not hearing anything, wait for hours to hunt for something, and then hearing this loud noise, right? What kind of animal made that sound? Which we know what this is, but Brian and his dad, or Brian is the dad, and then there's Jack. Jack and Brian have no idea what's going on. So his dad shifted uneasily beside him. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. Jack nodded, not trusting himself to speak. Brian sniffed the air and frowned. "Smells strange, like a skunk, but not quite." A loud crack made them jump. Something was moving through the underbrush, heading their way. Jack gripped his rifle tightly, straining to see in the darkness, which my eyes are crummy and I got to wear glasses. I couldn't imagine straining in the darkness, right? It sounds horrible. Yeah, let's see. Let me find my place here. Let's see here. And all right. He caught a flash of movement and breathed a sigh of relief. It was just a squirrel. We got plenty of squirrels, right? Okay. But the sounds grew louder and more frequent. Heavy footsteps, snapping branches, rustling leaves. It was too much noise for a squirrel. Jack's mouth went dry as the sounds came closer and closer. He glanced at his dad, whose face was taut with tension. Were they being hunted? Hmm? Good question. And if so, by what? Jack didn't know. All he knew was they may not be, or they may no longer be at the top of the food chain. So there may be a bigger, badder predator out there, right? And Tim says he loves the sound effects. You're welcome, honey. A menacing growl emerged from the darkness. Grrr, sending a chill down Jack's spine. Two glowing eyes peered at them through the trees, glinting with a curious light. Jack gasped as the creature stepped into a patch of moonlight, revealing a hairy, ape-like beast standing on two legs. His heart nearly stopped. They were dealing with something unnatural, something that shouldn't exist. Jack gripped his dad's arm, unable to tear his eyes away from the monster. "Dad," he whispered hoarsely, "we have to get out of here. Now." Brian nodded, his eyes never leaving the creature. "Slowly," he whispered back. "We don't want to startle it. Just like they say, if a snake is around us, we're not supposed to run away when we encounter them out in the wild. You're supposed to be still so it doesn't reflexively strike, right? But that's the thing. You can't make quite direct eye contact either, because a lot of beings, like a lot of animals, take that as a challenge, right? And that's uncomfortable and awkward. But here his dad is like, Brian's like, we got to get out of here, but slowly, right? Because they don't want to startle the Bigfoot. So Jack's heart thundered in his chest as he carefully reached for his backpack. I wonder if he packed snacks. I bet you he didn't pack snacks. He didn't want to make any sudden movements and attract the monster's attention. Sweat trickled down his forehead, his whole body tense with fear. Suddenly, the creature let out a deafening roar, baring its sharp teeth. Sounds like they're messed over. They are in trouble. Jack froze, his heart in his throat. The monster charged toward them, its massive form crashing through the underbrush. Brian grabbed Jack's arm and pulled him to his feet, sprinting toward the narrow path. The creature was gaining on them, its powerful muscles propelling it forward with terrifying speed. Jack could hear its ragged breaths and the thud of its feet hitting the ground as it crashed through the forest. Thud, thud, thud. They were never going to make it. It doesn't sound like it to me. But I figured that early on in this story. Jack and Brian didn't slow down until they reached the safety of their cabin. They actually made it back to their cabin, guys. They locked the doors behind them, both panting from the sprint. And I'm sure they still don't have snacks. Jack leaned against the wall, his mind still reeling from the encounter. Brian's face was grim as he tried to catch his breath. I've heard stories about creatures like that, he said, his voice low. But I never thought I'd see Bigfoot with my own eyes. And see, nobody's going to believe them. They're going to tell people about seeing the Bigfoot, and they're going to think that these guys were either dreaming or they were drinking, and the Bigfoot would remain elusive. Now this, for what it's worth, if you read to your kids, if you like haunted stories, look this guy up because I got it on sale on Amazon. It's a really nice hardcover book, Freaky Folklore. If you need this book, let me know, and I can totally tell you. I can even share from Amazon the link that I got this at. But it's even mentioned in the book, the author, and again, that's Carmen Carrion, and she has her own podcast, Darkness Prevails, which I did add to my podcast list. I just haven't listened to it as of yet. But she mentions that, like, kids love these stories, you know. Oh, Rebecca's hopping off. Good night, Rebecca. Thank you for joining me. So, I'm going to take a swig of my tea, and then I'm going to end this by drawing a card. And this is from Tarot of the Unexplained by Dave Zilla. I love aliens in general, and you know, go figure. It was from Back on the Broomstick that they interviewed this tarot deck author, and you know, it is an unconventional deck. It is not a normal deck at all. And I thought I should do it. Like you guys know, I've got a ton of decks that for people who've seen my bookcases in the past. So I added it to my collection, and it seemed like a good thing for this, you know. So I'm going to ask, with the energy of Bigfoot, who's very shy and reclusive, what knowledge should we consider related to the Bigfoot as we ponder this elusive being? And let's see here. And we have 7 of saucers. And this is very interesting. So it shows what appears to be a cow being abducted, and then there's cows in the background. And if me or you were to be outside and see this, we would think, wow, we have a lot of aliens. I mean, we would disbelieve. We would try to assign rationality to this, but then we would ultimately think there's unidentified flying objects in the sky, also known as UFOs, and they are in a big group. And they are planning an attack? Why are there so many of them? And then to see a cow being abducted, right? So this would make you think, from the perspective of a Bigfoot, that maybe it is uncomfortable, intimidating to be around others who may seem different, maybe foreign to us. Maybe they would be part of, like, you know how people hang out in groups, maybe part of a different group or what have you. And I think this would kind of encourage us um, to maybe see things from Bigfoot's perspective. Maybe this is how Bigfoot sees human society, and maybe this is why he is so reclusive in the woodlands of the Northwest, because it's scary. Human beings are scary. He doesn't know, like, is this a safe presence to be around or not? And I think a lot of us are creatures of habit, and we're gonna stick to what makes us comfortable. And I would be an advocate that we should not do anything without feeling first and foremost safe, right? So I think that does provide a little bit of a different insight on the Bigfoot. Now, I will go ahead and look up Dave Zilla's assigned meaning for the Seven of Saucers and just kind of loosely reference it, because he does try to link it to the Rider Waite Smith, you know. So we know from the Rider Waite Smith that the Seven of Saucers, saucers for this deck is like pentacles. It's where we're evaluating, right? Like the harvest, our hard work, you know. And so the way he describes this card is the craft has let's see. The craft have returned, but now there are seven. Four are golden, and three have a pale blue glow. The foremost craft is shining a beam. Unlike the Six of Saucers, which merely left a clue, these craft are here to give and take. They have returned one of the cattle, so he's saying they're returning it, to the rancher, who watches in horror as his wife is abducted by the lead craft. Oh, that's a lady being abducted. I thought it was another heifer being abducted, but no, it's his wife. Let's see here. Her arms are raised over her head as if she not only expects the abduction but welcomes it. The card can also indicate a need for patience and perseverance. The querent may feel frustrated or discouraged by slow progress, but it says that success comes with hard work and dedication. So I think of the research group in the folklore of Bigfoot that since the 90s they've investigated Bigfoot. Here we are in 2025. So I'm sure that there's a lot of perseverance and patience for an outcome and with their various findings on this elusive being. But I would say, from based on the tarot question I had, you know, with the Bigfoot theme, that yeah, that sometimes things are scary, you know, and it's okay to feel scared. If anything, sometimes that's our intuition telling us that we don't have all the data, but a person or a situation makes us uncomfortable. And I do believe that we need to honor that. And I do believe that that's linked even to our survival from caveman days. You know, sometimes certain people and situations are not safe, you know. So I think my intuitive reading rung out better than the Dave Zilla meaning, but I mean, again, it's a cool book, you know, cool little book. It goes with the deck, so I figured I would do it. So I think that sums up this go live. I had a lot of fun talking to my buddies, going over the folklore, reading the story, and even pulling the card. So yeah, so I'm always open to feedback. So if you think of anything that you would want to do, or if it's a matter of, like, let's say there's a cryptid that's your jam, I would totally be down to interview you to determine what you know and why is it your jam. I think that would be cool. So just reach out if that ever happens, as far as like if that's something you would want to do. Otherwise, we will continue on with the book and learn about all the cryptids all over the world from different cultures. And yeah, thank you for your time. I hope you have an awesome week. And yeah, I hope you stay safe from everything that goes bump in the night. Good night.